If you're a fan of Mogus Group Slug, I have a feeling you'll be feeling these lizards. I'm Queerphorexia, and today we're talking about Gev Scaled Scorch. Gev is a lizard mercenary legendary creature for rakdos, a black and a red. Ward, pay 2 life. Other creatures you control enter with an additional +1/+1 counter on them for each opponent who lost life this turn. Whenever you cast a lizard spell, Gev Scaled Scorch deals 1 damage to target opponent. I think this is a phenomenal new rakdos leader from Bloomburrow. And I think if you're a fan of the group slug formatting in EDH, you'll be a fan of putting Gev in your command zone with these little lizard guys. So right off the bat, we're going to be doing a lot of burn spells and burn type things in this deck as the group slug formatting typically goes. So we're going to be playing Ankh of Mishra, City on Fire, Dagger Caster, which if you are unaware, Vishinos are now lizards. Dictate of the Twin Gods, Fiery Emancipation, Havoc Festival, Impact Trimmers, Ketis, Emberclaw, Familiar, Magebane Lizard, Mana Barbs, Sulfuric Vortex, Roiling Vortex, and Underworld Dreams. A lot of these cards are group slug staples, but they make a perfect addition into this deck because they will trigger Gev Scaled Scorch. Its first ability, which says, again, other creatures you control enter with an additional +1/+1 counter on them for each opponent who lost life this turn. We want our opponents to lose life, so our little lizard friends can come in and cause some havoc. We're running few discard cards, but you know, it is what it is. Angrath, Flame Charred, which has an uptick to each opponent discards a card and loses 2 life, which will trigger Gev. And we are also running Court of Ambition, and which gives us the choice. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses 3 life unless they discard a card. If you're the Monarch instead, each opponent loses 6 life unless they discard 2 cards. Yeah, I think it's great. We are also running a little lizard friend who's a pinger, Hissing Iguana. Whenever a creature dies, you may have Hissing Iguana deal 1 damage to target player or planeswalker. We're running some protection for ourselves that since our little lizard friends aren't the hugest guys in the bunch, we are running Crawl Space, we are running Ensnaring Bridge, Lightning Greaves, and No Mercy. There is a combo to be played in this deck with Bloodchief's Ascension and Mind Crank. This is a life loss deck in the sense that we're playing lizards, so Gev can deal damage to an opponent, so Mind Crank is here to do the thing, and Bloodchief's Ascension is just going to help us out with that, even further comboing us out to mill our opponents out for the game. We cannot talk about a Lizard's Kindred deck without talking about Roaming Throne, because Roaming Throne is the best typo card they've printed in a very long time. It is just going to give us double triggers on Gev. It's going to give us double triggers on things like Magebane Lizard, Dagger Caster, Thorned, with its Prowess triggers. Let's talk about some of the lizards we're running in this deck with Bloodscale Prowler. It's got Bloodthirst 1. If you don't know what Bloodthirst is, and if an opponent was dealt damage this turn, this creature comes into play with a +1/+1 counter, essentially doubling up on the Gev trigger. Cindering Cutthroat, another Bloomburrow card. It enters with an addition with a +1/+1 counter on it if an opponent lost life this turn, essentially doing the same thing as Bloodthirst. Fireglass Mentor at the beginning of your second main phase. If an opponent lost life this turn, exile the top 2 cards of your library, choose one of them until the end of the turn, you can play that card. Another phenomenal card coming out of Bloomburrow for this deck. Gila Courser, obviously, from Outlaws, is a mount lizard, but when it attacks while saddled, you get to loot once more. We're running Laughing Jasper Flint for a little bit of theft into the deck, because why wouldn't we? We are also running the typical Lightning Bolt suite with Rakdos Charm, Kolaghan's Command, Terminate, Chaos Warp. We got the removal. We also got the tutors with Diabolic Tutor, Gamble, Grim Tutor, and Insatiable Avarice. Probably mispronounced the crap out of that. We're also running Obnix, the adversary, for some good life loss to continue. And if all of these pings and group slug effects weren't enough to end the game, once we get to that thick point of the game, we are also on Torment of Hellfire, which is kind of a pet card of mine. I love Torment of Hellfire. I think it is my favorite way to finish a game of Magic. Just, you know, paying 11 into it and doing the process 33 times is just so funny and so powerful. So let me know in the comments, are you going to be building Gev Scaled Scorch, or is there another commander out of Bloomburrow you're excited to build? And that being said, we'll catch y'all in the next one.